Alright, this is the second part of learning how to accept subscribers to your website. If you stumbled on this video, I recommend you watch the previous one first. There we did model view controllers and created the routes. We created the basic input forms and we saved the subscriber info to the database. In this one we will list all the subscribers and we will password protect that page, and we will style the form and the notice and error messages we created. There also are some errors in this episode as well, but let's get started. All right. Alright, so let's take a look at where we left off. So we finished up by validating that our error messages and success message was successful. So refresh and go to the list of articles. So we want to create this kind of output, but with the list of subscribers. And that's easier to do than you think. So what we need to do first is go to the subscribers controller and open it up if you don't have it open, and within the index action here type @subscriber equal subscriber with capital S dot all. So this will list all of the subscribers. Okay. Then go to the index file in the subscribers folder, but also in the articles folder open up the index file there. And this is the table, so we can actually copy everything of this and go and paste it into the index in the subscribers folder. Okay, and up here change articles to subscribers. And here we can just delete this, and these two header tags for the title and text, you can copy those two and paste them in below. And these are the 4 headers for our names and email and country, and give it another th tag below, which would be for our delete. Change title to first name, and then this text here to last name, a lowercase, and here change this to email address, and here change it to country, and in here write delete. Okay, perfect. Now we need to change everything where it says article or articles. We need to change this to subscribers and change this to subscriber, only singular. You can copy this subscriber within the pipe sign and paste it in over the article here. Good. And change this to f_name. Alright, and copy this and paste it in over the truncate below, over that whole thing. And change the F to an L for the last name. Perfect. And we can just delete those show and edit buttons. We don't need that. And just copy these two, subscriber for the name and subscriber for the last name. Change this to email and change this to country. Right. Now we have the table data columns for the first name, last name, email, and country. And I'm just going to indent here a bit. Okay, align this one as well. Okay. And now let's take care of the delete button. So this article here needs to be changed to subscriber. I think you get the hang of it now what we need to do. this article here needs to be changed to subscriber. Okay, and that's it there. I'm just gonna check a few things, scroll up and just make sure all is good. Alright, subscribers, each do subscriber. Okay, so what we need to do now, we need to, in the subscribers controller, we need to take care of the destroy action. Alright, so go to the subscribers controller, and underneath here we will add the destroy action. But what we can do is, if you go to your articles controller, you can copy this destroy action from here, and we just replace article with subscriber. Okay, you paste it into the subscribers controller. I don't need the comment anymore. Change this to subscriber. Change this to subscriber with capital S. And change this instance variable also to subscriber. And the path here need to be subscribers path, because we're deleting the subscriber, so it needs to go back to the list of subscriber. All right, go to the browser and refresh, and let's see what happens. Okay, let's just put in a subscriber. I would put in Ken. And then here I would write my BF. For those who know Barbie and Ken, they are boyfriend, girlfriend. And let's just put in Ken at testing.com. I hope you don't think I'm silly. I think it's funny. And put in a country. All right, submit it. And then good. So thank you, Ken, for subscribing to my newsletter. All right, so up here in the address bar, do a slash after 3000 and put in subscribers. Oh, all right, so subscribers controller index is missing the template. Now we know we created a template, so this is just a silly error. So let's just look at the subscribers folder in the views folder. Okay, all right, so this is my mistake. I had named it subscriber. It needs to be named subscribers because it needs to match the name of the controller, this folder. Okay, perfect. So that should take care of this. So save it and go back to the browser and refresh. Okay, refresh. All right, a new error. Okay, even though it says that this is within the do loop, this must be in the controller in the index action. All right, sure enough, I made the same mistake here. This needs to be plural as well and say subscribers because it's listing all the subscribers. Back to the browser, refresh, and there we go. So perfect. Now it works nicely. All right, and let's just delete a few of these. So these are the ones that got in before we put in the condition or the validation. All right, so let's just delete both of these if you have the same. Otherwise, try and delete some others. All right. Okay, so what we need to do now is we need to actually restrict this page. We cannot just have anybody that can put in slash subscribers. So go to your articles controller and copy the HTTP basic and paste it in. And instead of having the exception for index, show, and search, we need to have the exception of create. So a user needs to be able to create an email, but they cannot access the list of emails addresses. So go to your browser again, refresh. I'm going to put in a new user or subscriber. So this time I put in Skipper and last name my sister, and I put in Skipper at testing.com. Select the country and hit submit. All right, and thank you, Skipper, for subscribing to my newsletter. Now let's try and go to /subscriber. And now it will prompt us for our user input or our admin input. So put in your username and your password that you created earlier. All right, good. So now we signed in. Perfect. Now this has a little bit of a restriction that so prevent any user from coming in and see other people's email addresses. All right, so what we need to do now, we need to style the forms. Okay, they were a little squished there. So we need to go and open up the, actually I thought I had deleted that subscriber folder. So if you still have the old folder subscriber, delete it, but make sure you don't delete the subscribers folder. Okay. Alrighty. So open up your footer in the share folder and let's style these forms a little bit. Okay. And also go to your style sheets and open up the application.scss. And under form control here, let's create a new class that I name .sm_marge_bottom in curly brackets. Actually, I'm just going to name it sm_style for small style. And here I would give it a font size of 12 pixels. And I would do a margin bottom, M-A-R-G, bottom of 3 pixels. All right. And go to a footer, and after the class mr-sm-2, put in the class we just created, small sm_style, copy it, and put it into the next text field and to the email field. The select field we would deal with separately. Go to the browser and refresh. Refreshing. Refresh, scroll down, good. So that looks actually pretty neat. All right. We need to do this select button here. It's really a little finicky to style this one. And my styling is maybe not be the most efficient way, but it's the safest way to have it be coherent across all browsers and medias. So what we need to first do, we need to create a div tag here with the class. First I will give it the class of form control, form-control. There, no E. And you need to close the div tag under where it says select country, but above the submit button there. Right? Save it and let's go to the browser and refresh. Okay, scroll down. All right. So even though it extends over the whole, so it matches the forms above, it has that ugly thing in the middle, select the country. So let's go to another browser. I have Firefox. I'm going to test it in Chrome now. See if that looks any better, which I know it won't. So all right, I copied the localhost :3000, pasted it in, and it's up. All right, so again, so we want the border to be away around the select your country, and we want it to look just nice so it matches the text above it. So first we actually will go and fetch this form control in our Bootstrap folder. So go to the folder where you have your Bootstrap. I have it under ROR projects in this folder, and then I click Bootstrap 4.0. I click DIST for distribution. I click the CSS, and the bootstrap.css I open with Atom, and then I do a find. For Adam, it's find in buffer. Here I type form-control, and to limit our search selection, I put a space afterwards. Okay, and I hit find. Good. This is the one you want, the first one. So copy all this code and then go to the application.scss and paste it below where we have edited some of the form control. Put in a 2 after form control so that it has a new name. We can copy this code right here, this styling, and I will paste it in second to last. Alright, I will take away this font size. And what else do I need to do? A few things. I need to change the color, so I'm going to give this a medium gray, 777777. Right? Okay. Now, in here in the footer, so you need to change this to a 2, but what we need for this to work, you need to have this select afterwards. So back in the CSS file, type select after form control 2. Go to the browser and refresh. Refresh it. Alright, scroll down if you can. Good. So this is what I want. All we need to do now is to have it a smaller font, and it needs to align with the text above it. But that's small things. Alright? And let's go to Chrome and check it out. Yep, that looks fine. This is the way I find works best when you deal with the select buttons. Okay? Alright, I don't need the border for 1 pixel here because I bordered 3 pixels down below, and I don't need the background color of SSS because we have changed the background color below. Okay, save everything, and what we can do now, we can actually just in the footer put in after form control 2, we put in the SM_style, and that would inherit the font style, font size, and the margin below to give it some space. Browser and refresh here again. Right? So good. So now the font size is the same. It has a little margin below. The only thing is it wasn't indented properly. So I just know that under padding here, if you type padding -left, colon, and this would be 0.3 rem. Okay, I just know that this would work. To learn the rem, best way is to just experiment with it. Create a website and then just experiment with it. Okay. Anyway, good. Now it's cool and coherent and nice. Let's check it in Chrome. Good. All pretty. All right. Let's narrow the window and look at it in the sort of mobile size window. I do it for both Chrome and Firefox. All right. Looks nice. Okay. Okie-dokie. So what we need to do now, we actually will also style the alert and the success message. All right. So I'm closing these files first. Okay. And so we need to open up again, open up in the style sheet, actually open up application.scss again. And then in the views folder, in the layouts folder, open up application.html.erb. Now, if you have the div class outside the if statement for the notice, cut it out and paste it within the if statement surrounding the output for the notice. Okay? Because this class, the show notice, and also do the same for the alert output, needs to be within the condition for the if statement. If it's a notice, we're going to have it green and happy. If it's alert, we're going to have it red. So go back to your application.scss, and in the bottom under Jumbotron, type dot show underscore notice, curly brackets, and let's style this puppy. So first we will do a margin colon auto to center it, and then let's do a width of 3,300 pixels, and then we will do a color of green because this is the success notice, so that $00FF00, and then here we will do a font size that needs to be a T, and let's do this of 18 pixels, so not I typed wrong, needs to be 18. And then we need a padding. Let's give it a padding of 15 pixels. And let's do a background color of a light green. So $. I will do CC DDCC. That would be a light, very light green. Okay. And then we need to have a text align of center. And for the alert notice, we can just copy all this, and we change the notice to alert, ALERT, and change the color to red, so it's FF0000. Change the background color to a very, very light grayish red. This would be DDCCCC. Perfect, that's all we need to do here for now. Save it, go to the browser and refresh. I ended up getting out of my being signed in, so that's why this happened. But I just go back and I refresh again. Okay, refreshing. Okay, I had an error. Oh, it's a syntax error in the CSS. I forgot a semicolon. So, of the width, 300 pixel needs a semicolon. So all these errors give us a very good approximate what needs to be done, if not exactly what needs to be done. Okay, refreshing here now. Okay, good. Alright, so let's try and fill something out. So I'm going to do Barbarella, Fears, and I just hit enter. Okay, so then the alert came down. So, okay, so that looks actually good. You see it actually a little better than just the normal text. So let's fill it in correctly. So let's do Barbarella, Fears. Let's put in an email that doesn't exist. So I do first test, and I did test 3. And let's choose the country and hit submit. Good. Thank you, Barbarella, for subscribing to my newsletter. It's a little too bright, so I'm going to change the FF to 99. It's going to darken the green a bit. So back to the browser and refresh. Okay, good. Alright, so let's just do it again. I'm going to use the same name, first and last, and then I put in a new email. And I just changed it to a different number, and I select a country, and I hit submit. Good. Alright, so that is, the text is way more defined when it's darker. Alright, so let's narrow the window to look at it in the mobile format. So that looks okay. That doesn't look okay. Now that notice is too big. Okay, so we need to fix that, and we will now use the @media. So if you have never used that before, @media, you can use that to specify different output for different sizes, basically, to the screen. We can use it for other things too, but here, so in your application.scss, type @media, parenthesis, within parenthesis type max width, colon, and the max would be 576 pixels. That's the smallest format for the Bootstrap format, what they are using. Curly brackets within here, type dot, show underscore notice. Oops, notice. And then you do curly brackets again. And then within here, we're going to put width, colon, 90%. So this would be a percentage. We would take up 90% of the screen, not everything out of the screen. I think this would work. Copy this, but still within those curly brackets that you have, and then change notice to alert. So make sure we have two big curly brackets, and then you have the two classes within that. Okay, go back to your browser and refresh. Center a little bit. First, we narrow the window so we see where our error is. Or, yeah, well, it is an error. So refresh. Okay. Scroll down and fill in the form. You can just do what we used before. All we want to check is the width of the output notice. And I changed the number now to something else. This doesn't really matter if it's the alert or the notice. Okay. But anyway, it didn't align itself the way I wanted to. I wanted it to be extend all the way to the edges of the image below, the banner image. So back to the SCSS file, let's change the alert to just 94. This is just for testing. We don't have to change both. We need to refresh and then scroll down, and I will just put in first name and the last name, and then the error message would show up because I don't fill out the form correctly. There we go. So it's extended it a little bit, but not all the way to the edges of the banner image. And I realize why this happens. We need to have this set to 100% because within the application.html.erb where this is displayed, it's within the container, and the container already has a margin and padding to it. So go back to the browser and refresh again. Alright, now it will look pretty. Okay, so let's do we still only need to test one of the messages. There we go. So now it aligns properly and nice. Okay? Alright. And later, by the way, just a reminder, for this country selection, we will move that to a helper file in another episode and display all countries in the world. So you get to use the helper file one more time and define our own helper file. But let's go to where you have your server running, and we're going to check some things. If you don't have to check, just watch the video. I'm going to scroll up, and I'm going to scroll where I actually have the skipper input. So this is where I like to have the server in a separate tab running, because it actually helps you to find errors, etc. with successing. So here we go. So here it is for the skipper input. So I will highlight all the way up to parameters there. It started with the post. Then it actually gives an authenticity token. This authenticity token, it's a safeguard. It randomly generates, and it helps the form to be safe. And here we have the subscriber, fname _ is skipper, lname is my sister, and then it checked if the subscriber exists for the email, and it didn't, so it began the transactions. It inserts into the subscribers table. So let's scroll up and look at something else. Like I said, you don't have to scroll up, I'm just showing here. So this is actually where we deleted something. It still submitted a token, and then it began the transaction, and then it deleted it. This is the output for all the errors. Now, so let's just go up. I'm going to find where it was an unsuccessful submission. And here. So this is where I submitted a first name but not a last name, and an error happened then. It still submitted an authenticity token. It started submitting the first name, and then when it got to the last name, it's empty. It still continued to do the email and checked if it existed. However, once it's done that, so the email, but once it's done that, since the last name was not there, it began the transaction, but then it rolled back the transaction. And after the rollback, it went to the, redirected to the home page. All right, so back into your other tab, and then clear the window, and then I did git status. I clear the window again, and now we do git add space dot, and then I do git commit -m, single quotations, and in here we're going to write what we did for the last 2 sessions. So we created model, which we did in the last session. Remember, we created the model, view, controller, and we did the routes for subscribers. Oops, subscriber. Yep, that's correct. Sign up. All right, and then edited the CSS files. Or basically it is an SCSS file, but I don't using the SCSS syntax. I just use regular CSS. All right, hit enter. Cool. That's the git status. Oops, git status. Did you mean this git status? Of course I did. Git status. All right, on branch master, nothing to come in. Cool. Anyway, have a good day. Take care. Bye bye.